We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Please tell me somebody's going to prison. Joining me now, my friend Josh Hammer, host of America on Trial, author of the book Israel and Civilization. Josh, who's going to jail? Tell me somebody's going to jail soon.
Jesse, I hope people go to jail. I'm not going to confidently predict that anyone will, but I would very much like to see that happen. Sorry, my friend. I don't want to get your hopes up. I don't want to be the one who disappointed Jesse Kelly here on the first on the first TV. But this is a righteous legal action that the Pam Bondi DOJ is taking against New York. It's very similar to the probe that they launched about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago against the city of Chicago, Cook County, Illinois, which is where Chicago is. Indeed, the entire state of Illinois under the gubernatorial tenure of Governor Pritzker. What these Democratic jurisdictions are doing, Jesse, I like to refer to it as neo-Confederacy, because what they're actually doing here is they're trying to relitigate the ghost of John C. Calhoun, the infamous slaveholder from South Carolina back from the 1830s, 1840s, who famously proposed that there was such thing as nullification theory, meaning that if there is something the federal government does, the states can basically just nullify. Well, last I checked, Jesse, and I say that as someone born on Abraham Lincoln's birthday, we actually waged an entire civil war to settle this question once and for all. A lot of people actually died to answer the question as to whether or not the states can simply nullify the will of the federal government. The answer is no, as Article 6 of the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause, makes very clear here. So these states are wildly, wildly out of line. And ultimately, Pam Bondi, there as the nation's chief law enforcement officer, is just trying to enforce federal law. I say good for her.
Okay, so let's fast forward to the FBI ICE leak, because I heard Pam Bondi talking pretty tough about it. Here she was.
And anytime anyone leaks or tips off anything regarding a pending investigation, that jeopardizes lives. You're telling a bad guy what's about to happen. It could jeopardize the lives of all the men and women in law enforcement. We will not stand for it. We will find you. We're going to investigate it. No matter what agency it came from, we don't know for certain. We have an open investigation, so I can't talk about it in detail, but we will do everything in our power to hold you accountable, and it is a crime, and you will be prosecuted when we find you.
Josh, I'm not familiar with this woman, not near as familiar as you are, being you're from Florida, but I like what I hear so far.
Yeah, so far so great. Pam Bondi is very strong out of the gate. Look, Jesse, Pam Bondi was a very effective attorney general here in Florida. She was attorney general for 8 years. She was the tip of the spear of the red state pushback against Obamacare back when that was the big issue there. She was actually also a righteous crusader on the same-sex marriage fight, which feels like a fight from a different era, frankly, in retrospect there. But I love what I see out of the gate here. Look, this new Trump administration has to have zero tolerance, zero, not a small amount, but literally zero tolerance for leakers. Leaking was one of the biggest thorns in the side of the Trump administration the first time around. Unfortunately, Jesse, we saw those of us who follow this thing closely, maybe a little too closely, there was actually a common theme in the early days of the Trump transition period, actually. It seemed like that there were some leakers, frankly, in Mar-a-Lago there. So leaking is not foreign to Trump world. Trump world has always been infected by leakers there. And it is imperative that they be rooted out, because Pam Bondi is totally correct here. You're talking here about the safety of law enforcement agents. In this particular case, is the safety of ICE agents who are executing a removal operation there. This is the bread and butter policy of MAGA 2.0, Jesse. Last I checked, the mass deportation operation that everyone from Kristi Noem and Tom Homan to Pam Bondi and Trump himself, that is the bread and butter of this administration. If you cannot make sure that that is going smoothly, everything's going to crumble from there. So you got to make sure this at least goes smoothly.
No doubt about it. Josh Hammer, host of America on Trial. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.